that we are at a tie match at the drop. Double gen pop to avoid the deadlock. They do go down. There is a haste status effect. They did be careful here. The hatch is going to spawn momentarily. Dead Hard could get them the distance to get it too. Shot.
Really smart play on the ace. Oh my god, getting shot through the window.
No longer have distortion, and they are going to teleport here. I think they get there in time. Yes!
Oh, the grab again!
Oh, they blocked
That is disappointing. This is be a 4-man out because.
Yeah, but they will be able to block this. Yo, getting caught on that. Ace coming with the body block. Oh, they were here.
Hey, what is up, guys? It's Giltspire here, and welcome back to Champions of the Fog. And we are joined here today with Iconic vs. Demice on the Father Campbell's Chapel for round 4 of Group B. It's hard to believe that we're already halfway through the season, but here we are, and we are kicking it off strong with Iconic's Nurse versus Demice's Survivor team on the Father Campbell's Chapel. A bit of a center spawn here. We do see a split corrupt, a bit of an unfortunate circumstance. However, the Nurse on top of the James like a wet blanket. That there is a very early and very key find. However, the Nurse, seeing the scratch marks from the Nancy, will end up going in chase with IKEA instead. Nancy going down, trying to get the firecracker light burn, though Nurse not having enough, will go in chase, or rather scout out and see if there is a survivor nearby enough in order to do so, though it does not appear to be the case, and we will get the first down within, I want to say, the first 30 seconds. That was a huge play for the Nurse, as they will be making their way over towards Carnival, I would imagine. However, Nurse instead going towards main and getting a very spicy M1 there on the Claudette, as they were able to swing down, and a double tap on the Claude Page. And looks like the Nurse once again going out trying to find another survivor, though with a slug and a hook right next to each other. I would not be surprised to see a bit of a camp out. However, Nurse with a hook right next to each other and a gen right there. That is a boon to say the least, as Nurse will shorten their blink to try and stay nearby, and I believe camp Nancy out to second stage. Nia coming in will take the hit. Will they go for the Nancy? They will not. Instead, James will do so. 4 survivor injured, 1 on the hook. James about to be blinked on, but instead going back for the Nia, who will go down. Body blocking the Claudette all the while. A bit of a sprint burst, getting out of the way. No BT hit here today. A amazing start here in favor of Iconic. 0 gens done thus far. And I will note that there is a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Almost missed it in all of the shuffle. In addition, survivors are keenly aware of the existence of both Eruption and Overcharge as well. So full build being exposed on the Nurse, as the Claudette will once again be in chase. Nancy as well as the James nowhere to be seen. Claudette almost fallen into the Nurse's arms here, but we will see the Claudette bring them further back into the Carnival. Going for the pallet drop, will successfully get it. So So far, no sign of any other survivor as the Claudette will go down. And no sign that these survivors have been on gens at all, or if they have any remaining progression. It is going to be quite the uphill battle here. Potentially a 4K at 0 gens completed for the nurse. That there will be the Nancy. A little bit of a balance landing there, getting her a bit of distance. Realistically speaking, the bounce landing not even necessary, as Nurse was not going to be able to get that hit after the blink strike. A bit of a misfire there, as they were going to be spawning into the wall. Nancy, though, at the LT wall will take a hit. Nurse, though, here in James on the gen, will end up going for it. Will get the hit as well. James in a bit of a pickle here, as Nurse will apply overcharge and eruption to that gen. James seemingly going into main. Nurse catching up on that. And looks like we will see a unhook on the Claudette. James, though, in a bit of a middle of nowhere, as well as over nearby a Scourge hook. If the Nurse is able to get them down now, this would be a huge play, stopping the survivors from getting another generator, actually just a generator, finished up here in set number 1. Nurse trying to get these prediction blinks going, but just unable to do so in time. James put on a fantastic show, but the show will end eventually, as James will end up going down and being put on a Scourge hook here towards the center of the map. We also do see, I believe, a Nancy there on the right-hand side. Nurse, seeing that too, will go back, trying to find where they are. No bloodstains, suggesting this actually, no, in fact, it is the Nancy. Bloodstains had already gone away by the time that they got there. And this is a huge find, as Nancy is pretty much in a dead zone. I mean, technically speaking, any area with the Nurse is a dead zone at the end of the day. But Nancy going down not too long after. And once again, we're going to see 2 survivors on hooks pretty close by to one another. Might be a little bit of a repeat of what we saw before. But this time, not a Scourge hook. Pain Resonance, Claudette with the unhook. And looks like Nurse will be able to get a pretty quick down here, as they will get the blink strike at the pallet. We'll note that Nia was able to get a generator completed first gen for these survivors thus far, as they are about 7 hooks in with 1 survivor dead. That is a huge, huge blow to these survivors, as they are going to have to make every single chase count in order to get more gens completed. Scratch marks in the shack. Nurse trying to see where they might be, thinking that maybe they have dived down into the basement, though no sign of them thus far. A bit of a misblink there, and a second 2. That is a lot of time that the Nurse is missing out on here, though won't mean much, as the Nurse will blink immediately onto the James, pushing him off of that generator. Only one currently not injured is the Nia, who last time we saw her was over by Carnival working on gens there. James, with a little bit of misplay there, will end up in the line of sight of the Nurse. However, Nurse missing her initial blink strike and will get the pallet stun on her debut. Excuse me. However, the life of FNK will only last so long, as James will go up on hook for another time. And that there will be the second hook, I believe, this time on a Scourge hook for the 8th hook of this match. 2 gens completed thus far. These survivors need to do something quick. However, seeing the Nancy still injured, I believe this entire match he has not been able to get a heal from their teammates, will end up staying up at the L wall, as the Nurse takes a bit of an aggressive swing there. However, Nurse will catch back up that much quicker, as Nancy will go down for the final time, as she'll be sent back to the campfire via the entity. Another Scourge hook, Pain Resonance to boot, so another 15% off the most progressed gen. Looking like it may have been the main generator. James caught out once again. However, Nia is only on their first hook, so the best chase that the nurse could probably get here is the Nia, as they would then get an additional 2 points. However, with James down, looks like we are going to see a bit of a slug for the 4K, as Nurse realizes they are unable to get back to the hatch in time. Scratch marks at main, however, give the Nia's positioning away. The question is whether or not the Nurse can find them. Nurse checking lockers, desperate to find the Nia in time. Realistically speaking, though, Nurse could fully bleed out FNK on the ground and get full points for it. So these survivors have to be very careful and very stealthy, as they are going to be testing the patience of the Nurse here. So far, though, no sign of the Nia. Nurse, though, a little bit concerned that Nia could be on gens as they wait things out. Will end up checking, and we will see once again that overcharge or eruption regressing the gen by just a little bit. No sign of Nia once again, however. About another 3 minutes on the clock for FNK on the ground over in the Carnival. The best case scenario here is that the survivors just let FNK bleed out and set up for the hatch. Or we could potentially see another bit of nightlight tech if they are able to pick up FNK at the very last moment, forcing a very unique scenario onto the Nurse. So far, though, Nurse taking a look over by FNK in Carnival, making sure they know where James is. However, it ain't gonna mean much if they cannot find the Nia. These survivors do have a few different options available to them to set things up in their favor. And I think they're going to allow the bleed out to happen, or at least get them to 1 second on the bleed out clock, forcing a very unique scenario here in the endgame. Long story short, for those who do not know, basically, if in instance they're able to pick up FNK at the very last moment and get them over to the shack, more or less what these survivors can do is force a scenario to where either the James gets the hatch, or where the survivor, Nia, ends up getting the hatch, because they down FNK, the hatch will spawn. By the time the Nurse recovers from their strike, the Nia will have been able to escape. And it's looking like this might end up being the scenario here if they do play this right. Nurse, though, once again, taking a look around, really taking their time here. Less than a minute on the clock for this bleed out timer on the James. Nurse checking the basement. Potentially going to check every single locker here as well. In order to avoid the exact scenario we talked about, they're going to have to go for the James and potentially find the Nia out there waiting for the pickup. However, time is slowly ticking down, and this is going to drag out to the bitter end, as Nurse thinks they're going to actually allow the bleed out and for the Nia to try and jump in. This might be quite a panic moment here for the Nurse, as if we see James get up and their bleed out timers stop at the very last moment. Let's wait and see. No! Nia, not on the pickup, not attempting the tech, instead going for the exit gates potentially, as it is on the opposite side of the shack. Nurse with the double blink trying to get a little bit of distance. They could potentially try for it, though. No sign of the survivor. Could they have been on the other exit gate this entire time? Hard to say, as there is a line of sight blocker. Nurse not actually being able to see either exit gate from a singular location. And we do see the flash of the red light. Looks like Nia is on the exit gate. They will get it open, and that will be a two-man or two hook out on the Nia. So that there is pretty incredible, as that will gain the survivors another 2 points, as if a third generator is completed. However, also robbing the Nurse of another 3 points, more or less, the win condition is now a 4K for Demice's Artist at 4 gens completed will give them the win. Honestly, amazing play there by the Survivors. A bit unexpected given the circumstances, but well played nonetheless. With that being said, we are going to take a quick break as we do switch up the lobby. This time, we will be seeing Demice's Artist versus Iconic Survivor team. But before we go, we do want to remind everyone here today that you, yes, you, the viewers, are our sponsors. For all the ads they watch, all the bits they tip, all the subs they buy, and of course all the Rogue Energy buy using the code COTF goes to supporting Group A and Group B's prize pools. With that being said, we're going to be back in just a bit. All right, and we are back. This time with Demice's Artist versus Iconic Survivor team. And in case you did forget, we are back again on the FCC, and the win condition for Demice is actually not that difficult in my opinion. I think very possible for this artist here today. It is a 4K at 4 gens completed. If IKEA can accomplish that, Demice will take set number 1 by a single point. With that being said, a very early find here for the artist off the Killer Instinct on the Claudette with the flashlight in hand. Claudette with the vault and looks like potentially either bounce landing and or a life. Ada following up as well, trying to body block potentially, though Claudette now out in the middle of nowhere by herself. The artist here trying to get a read on where the Claudetta is, and that there will be a swarm of crows ready and waiting for them as they will go down for the first down of this match. Looks like they are going to be bringing them to the back of the carnival here, as we will see a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. That there will aggress the most progressed gen by 15%. And we will see another Killer Instinct there on main, as well as a swarm on the Jake. And looks like we will find both the Ada as well as the Nancy here trying to crank out the gen. However, a bit of highlighted yellow gen will be in order. Could be Call of Brine or Eruption. We will have to wait and see, as Nancy will take a hit from the swarm. However, will they get to the pallet in time? Just barely, as we will see the pallet drop and the potential hit here from the swarm of crows. However, looks like Nancy will get away, and the artist has sensed that, trying to look around for the Claudette, who was back in this corner, who is being healed by Jake, and that there will be the down. Double Eruption on the gens, one on main and one nearby. That is 20% across both gens, and another Scourge Hook as well, regressing most progressed gen by an additional 15%. This is a huge, huge play here for the artist. Very aggressive on the survivors, attempting to get that heal off in time. Unfortunately, just not able to make it happen. Artist, though, here in the unhook from the Jake, once again in Carnival, wanted to go for a very early tunnel out. And I imagine that there is the Claudette with the life, trying to get a little bit of distance. And sure enough, there she is, as she will get swarmed once again. Probably the worst survivor here to be hit by the artist time and time again, as they do have the flashlight to try and slow things down while in chase, just unable to really get a lot of utilization here. Jake dropping off the body blocks, it would seem, as we will see the first gen popping off. Survivors need to get an additional 4 gens completed in order to claim victory for set number 1 of this match. Claudette here trying to make something happen. Artist going for the double back here, trying to mind game, forcing the Claudette into a bit of a scenario. However, Artist kind of getting turned around. Claudette will get the pallet drop, now box themselves in, however, and that is the swarm not getting the hit via the flight path. However, Ada coming in for the body block. We will get a hit here, it looks like. The artist setting up another swarm of crows, missing both the Ada and the Claudette. The severed hams reapplying the crows again and again on both, and that there will be the down on the Claudette for the full tunnel out. This has been a pretty long chase, however, even with the Scourge Hook. So it is very possible that Jake and Nancy will be able to complete their generators here in just a few moments, as Artist gets 0 information off their dire crows. Jake, though, caught out here. Artist trying to set up the dire crow for the swarm, will not get the hit, instead getting Killer Instinct for a little bit of information. However, that information won't do the artist very much, as we will see the pallet drop here in a few moments. Though Jake, unafraid of the birds, will end up going through the pallet, however, taking a hit nonetheless. Artist, though, setting up the birds a little bit high up, though. It looks like it worked out, as I didn't even hear the Jake go up on hill. Though with that bounce landing, they will be able to get away, as we will hear another gen popping off in the distance. 3 more gens to go. These survivors are inching closer and closer to victory, and I feel the pressure getting to the artist, as they are going to be dropping chase to the Jake, moving on to the Nancy, who, mind you, does have this med kit, meaning that they will not be able to drop chase all too easily here if they do end up getting an injure, as Nancy will make their way over to the shack. I fear for the artist that they will end up getting the gen that they had worked on prior in the carnival. And mind you, survivors are completely aware of the full build of the artist here, that being Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, Eruption, and Overcharge. along with Corrupt Intervention, which has been long gone with a very early down earlier in the match. However, Artist will get the injure on the Nancy with the Dire Crows. However, trying to set up for the follow-up hit will not happen, as we do see Jake coming on by, though, not going for the body block. Instead, going over for Gens here in the Shack side. Nancy, though, almost falling for the mind game, but seeing the red light just in time, as they will be diving back in. Artist trying to set up for the Dire Crow down, but will not be able to launch them in time. Nancy now in a bit of a pickle here, resetting the Dire Crow timer time and time again. However, holding W into main. I do not think the Artist is going to be able to get this down in time, as 2 more gens remain for the win condition to be met. The Artist at this point will have to 4K before the next 2 gens are completed in order for the Mice to take their victory in set number 1. However, the Sapphires making it very, very difficult here, as Nancy's chase will take them back over to the Carnival. And I fear that this chase has gone on for too long, as both the Ada and the Jake will complete a gen here in just a few moments. Nancy with the fake out will double back, and Artists might realize that they have to break chase here, as they do send Dire Crows over towards the gen in Carnival. There is 1 gen. This now means the Artist needs to 4K right now before the 5th gen is complete. However, with Ada coming in, once again, not going for the body block. Instead, will be going towards the doors. 5th gen completed will result in a win for Iconic in set number 1 of this match. Don't worry, though, we will have set number 2, where we are going to be seeing Demice's Blight versus Iconic's Blight on the Gas Heaven. So as you wrap up this match, that'll be something to get quite excited for. However, this Nancy absolutely putting on a masterclass in looping in the FCC. She is doing an amazing, amazing job, as we do hear the XK open. Ada coming in for the body block. There is not much that the killer can do, as they will get blinded by the firecracker, and that is 1, 2, 3 survivors out of this match. With that being said, GG, well played to both teams, and congratulations to Iconic for taking a set 1 victory. With that being said, though, we are going to be switching sides, or actually, more accurately, we're going to be switching maps. We might not be switching killers, however, as Demice will be playing the play against Iconic Survivor team on the Gas Heaven. But before we go, we want to remind everyone here today that we are partnered with Pugdom. Pugdom is a Dead by Daylight competitive community very much like ours. They, in fact, are actually streaming the second half of Group B. So if you guys haven't already, make sure to stop on by, say hi, and drop a follow, as they will be streaming some matches of Champions of the Fog. And if you do not want to miss a single moment, make sure to do so. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit. right, and we are back once again. We are here with Demice vs. Iconic, and we are back with set number 2, Demice's Place versus Iconic Survivor Team on the Gas Heaven. And we got a bit of a Blight mirror match, in fact. So we're going to see if Demice's Blight is the speediest of pinball wizards, or if Iconic's Sonic the Hedgehog of Dead by Daylight will be able to collect all the Chaos Emeralds. With that being said, we will not have to wait long, as we do see Fry load on up in a bit of a central spawn here. Actually, probably one of the few spawns that can really mess with spawn logic, as Fry will not be able to really predict all too well where these survivors might be. More likely than not, though, behind the gas station. And sure enough, Fry will find the Jake in the gas station. However, not really be able to get very far before having to break the breakable wall, as Jake will get the blind with the firecracker and a little bit of distance to boot. However, beautiful lunge there on the Jake, as they will be trying to replay the main building. Jake with the pallet drop will get a bit of distance. However, Blight will Blighted Rush immediately for the down. Though Jake will get back in and will nearly be able to avoid the Blight, as the Blight will be able to get the first down of this match. Jake with a very decent chase, though, however, as the survivors will be able to set up on these gens. And looks like you will be seeing the central hook here, as it is a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. 2 survivors on this gen, the Claudette, and one more. The Blight did, in fact, see the other survivor here laying in wait. That there is the Adam trying to take him away. And I imagine another survivor will jump on the gen soon, as they will note that there is a bit of a overcharge in play. Very similar build to before, as we do see overcharge, corrupt, and Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Adam getting caught out here at the tile, not much available to them, though Blight will drop the chase in favor of going for the Claudette, who will get the pallet stun and the vault. However, Adam and Claudette kind of caught out here in the middle of nowhere. No real tiles to work with, though Blight will miss their Blighted Rush, though Claudette will not be able to get very far, as they will be downed, exposing Eruption to the Survivor team. Full build now being Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, Overcharge, Eruption, and Corrupt Intervention. Let me know, guys, in chat what your thoughts are on killers using 3 gen regression perks in Group B. It is actually available in Group A as well, for the most part, as we do not limit the number of gen regression perks. Let me know what you guys think, and if, as we get more and more gen regression perks, if that might be necessary to look into in the future. With that being said, we will see the Jake make their way back into main. We've seen this chase once before, though looks like Jake will be playing the truck here, one of the few pallets available, and they will get the drop. Blight, though, with the insta-break, will not be able to get to them in time, as Jake takes the right call and will drop the pallet for distance. We do see Jake trying to replay the main building once again, this time with not a lot of resources, as they will end up going down in front at the pallets. Another Scourge Hook Pain Resonance incoming, regressing the most progressed gen by a total of 15%. And during that chase, I believe we may have missed the fact that Claudette did have a Deliverance in hand earlier. Once again, trying to complete this generator. Blight going for the hug tech, and will get the down, as Claudette tried to WQ away. Really great heads-up play there for the Blight, as they were able to get the down off the hug tech. And this here will not be a Scourge Hook for the 15% regression. However, Survivor's not going down without a fight, as we will see a For the People and gen popping off in the distance, trying to ensure that the Blight is unable to go for the tunnel on the Jake here. However, Jake caught out in the middle of nowhere, as they are going to be here in these middle tiles. Jake gonna be having to drop this pallet here. Greeting, however, there's no off the record, so Jake will go down. a potential decisive strike maybe, but without that, I do not think Jake is going to be going far. And sure enough, there is the decisive strike and the pallet drop for the distance. Jake trying to make it to the next tile in time. And we will see the pallet break there as Jake will make their way back to the dump truck in order to gain a little bit of distance. Moving into a tile with a Nancy for the body block. However, Blight doing an amazing slide there off the Nancy will successfully get the hit and the down. That means Jake is that much closer to the campfire as we do see the third gen popping off. So good job by these survivors as they are cranking out gens slowly but surely. Jake, though, with no second chances this time around, will end up on a hook. Blight looking around trying to find a Scourge hook, I imagine, but unable to do so, will go to the non-Scourge hook here for their 5th hook of this match, and the last hook for Jake as they will be sent back to the campfire. Nancy trying to make their way over to main. Will make it to the pallet in time, and survivors with the 4th gen completion. Blight trying to go for a mind game. Nancy not having it, will successfully evade the Blight. As Blight is going to try and hug that here, unfortunately may not be able to do so successfully as they will slide a little bit too far, and Nancy will make their way into, no, actually, they're sticking to the style. Nancy, once again, showing what they have in store for these killers here today. However, Blight will fake out the mind game and successfully get the down on the Nancy. Really well played on both sides through and through. This here, though, being a bit of a Scourge and hook, or aggressive gen by a total of 15%. The gen here has been 99 for the entire match, I feel. However, these survivors just unable to get it complete. Blight, though, seeing blood in the water, knowing they have to do something quick, is looking for a survivor who has not been on hook before, and looks like they are going to be on the Adam. Adam with the mid-vault, a gift to every killer. However, that there is adrenaline, as Adam will end up getting back off the ground and getting away. Not sure if that was purposeful or by design, but the survivor will make their way slowly but surely towards the exit gate as Blight will miss their blighted rush. Adam, though, trying to get that palace down, being a little bit greedy as we saw. However, survivors open up the exit gate, seeing that the Adam is so far away from both, might be cutting their losses here potentially as EGC does start and a 4-minute timer does start ticking on down. Realistically speaking here, Claudette on death hook, Nancy on first, Adam with 3 hooks to give. It looks like the survivors will cut their losses as it will result in a 2-man out with 9 hooks. A pretty decent result here for the Blight, but given that they are an S tier with a heavy gen regression build, not a bad result for these survivors either. With that being said, that there will be the end of trial number 3 of set number 2. We are going to be flipping sides where Iconic's Blight will be going against the Demice's survivor team, where they are going to need to get a 3K plus 1 hook in order to secure victory. With that being said, we are going to be back in just a moment. But before we do go, we do want to remind everyone here today that you, yes, you, the viewers, are our sponsors, so that as they watch all the bits they tip, all the subs they buy, all go supporting Champs and Fog and our prize pools for Group A and Group B. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit. All right, and we are back for what might just be the final trial of this match. We are going to be seeing Iconics Blight versus Demice's Survivor team once again on the Gas Heaven, and they are going to need to get a 3K 10 hook once all the gens are completed. So not outside the realm of possibility, but we'll have to wait and see. As the Blight will begin rushing over towards the main building, finding the Dwight, nearly getting the initial hit very quickly here, though. Looks like Blight trying to either get Bloodlust or do a bit of a mind game, and will not be able to make it happen, as they will get pal stunned at the main building. And they will see two survivors off in the distance now rushing over to him. This here being the Nia, it looks like. Though these Blighted rushes just coming up a little bit short. However, Blight once again going to the mind games. We do hear a gen there on the hill, getting a little bit of progress. And that is two pallets out very early. And two survivors off at gens, mind you. Looks like Blight, though, will continue on the chase for the Nia. Not going for the unhook. Sorry, not unhook, not going for the gen, but also getting a very, very spicy hit there on the Nia. Not exactly sure what happened there, but Blight will rush past the ace and will take the pal stun from the Nia this time around. Mecha in hand, so Blight knows they cannot really drop this chase lest they lose a lot of free pressure. And looks like they will move to this new tile here. Blight trying their best. They'll wait for the down and will successfully get it on the Nia. Though Dwight there primed and ready for a potential flashlight save. As we will see the gen highlighted in yellow, these survivors are going to be keenly aware of the existence of overcharge once they touch that gen for the first time. A hook for the Blight, but does not appear to be a Scourge hook. Pain Resonance, as instead we are going to see that generator flash in a plume of smoke and bright sparks, as that there is in fact a pop goes the Weasel instead. Dwight going down off the hill, potentially with a bounce line and getting a little bit of distance here, as we will see a re-kick to this gen and the first gen of this match being completed. Looks like they will be going for the unhook. No, in fact, Ace not going for the unhook. Instead, going for the generator here, trying to get it cranked out. Knowing the win condition, these survivors want to get a fresh out as soon as possible. Blight, though, missing their rush, as Claudette will make their way over to the unhook and will successfully get in time to avoid the one-for-one trade at hook. However, Blight trying their best to get them down quickly will end up taking the pal stun. A really delayed one, too, as I feel they slid off of the Nia, who is trying to take a bit of a body block here. However, BT only lasts so long, and looks like Blight will miss the Blighted rush on the Nia. Nia doing a fantastic job utilizing the Blight's POV to their advantage. Nia, though, once again, trying to figure things out. Blight not sure of what is going on. Trying to get tell heads or tails. And looks like Nia will be moving towards the basement. Blight just not able to get a read on the Nia's movements, though will end up getting them down and revealing Eruption, which will regress the gens by 10%. However, Nia whiffed a decisive strike, and then a down at the pallets. I don't know if that may have been a life in hand, but Nia trying to go for it did fail them, as they will get hooked for a second time here. However, Nia wasted a whole lot of time. It's just a shame that chase ended the way it did, as they had all the time in the world to get away from the Blight with both the decisive and the pallet drop. Blight, though, on the ace, and looks like they will get the hit there at the L wall, as Blight will make their way over towards main. There's the tires. Ace will go down. Blight starting to get into the groove of things, as they're trying to now go and chase with the Dwight, no. Instead, going towards main building, get a little bit of gen regression going. That there Pop Goes the Weasel, Eruption, and Overcharge are regressing the gen upwards of 200%. Fourth gen completed though, this only being the third hook for the Blight, and we will see the 40 people from the Dwight on the Nia. And looks like these survivors are going to be trying their best to get a survivor out of this match one way or another. Blight really in a world of hurt here, as like we said, they only need to get a survivor out completely fresh. If they're able to do that and that alone, they will secure victory for this set, pushing us, I believe, to a set 3. However, Blight will end up finding an injured Dwight here at the tile, going to the vault, will end up getting grabbed. Mid-vault, a gift to every single killer. We say it time and time again, and sure enough, there it is. Blight on the first hook of this match for them, and Claudette with another unhook. Blight with a amazing swing there, getting around the Ace in time. However, Ace once again going for the body block, but the Blight knows full and well there ain't no BT, there ain't no DS, so this is either going to be a tunnel out or bust. However, maybe a adrenaline play incoming as Ace is on the ground. Blight going for the slug out, however, missing on the Claudette on the Blighted Rush, just not able to make it happen in time. Nia nowhere to be found, and Claudette will make the vault in time. Blight knows what's going on, knows that they need to get this down as soon as possible. However, these survivors just being so wiggly and slippery, they are just unable to make it happen, as Nia will get the unhook, and we still have the slug on the ground. Dwight, though, with the BT, not sure if Blight just trying to get in position for the down. However, no one to be seen. Ace back up off the ground. Claudette on the pickup and the attempted heal. However, Blight not having it, trying to get the down on the Ace, but just not able to get the flick in time. The Blight just struggling time and time again here on these Blighted Rushes. However, getting a very spicy hit there through the pallet will get the Ace down for real this time, and he will be up on hook. Second hook for the Ace. We are now in a scenario to where only the Claudette is fresh at this moment in time. If the Blight is able to get them and hook them, that would put them in prime position to close out this match. Pop Goes Weasel, Overcharge, and our Eruption once again getting applied on the gen. However, these gens have a pretty far spread, and I feel like the Blight might be feeling the pressure here as they're going to be making their way over to the gen on the far side. Seeing it has some pretty good regression. However, Claudette going down pretty quickly, and we will see a Pop Goes Weasel on this gen. Pop put in a lot of decent work here, as we have talked about before. Pop Goes Weasel will get 10 seconds off a gen as long as it's above 50%, and then some on top of which if it is even further along. Scratch marks here in main, another Overcharge applied to these gens. Eruption still not off of cooldown, and looks like Blight will make their way back to the unhook on the Claudette. Looking like it is a deliverance. Claudette, though, with the Palace stun, getting a really good stun there. Trying their best to make their way to the next tile. However, not able to make it happen. Built-in BT is out. Claudette is down. However, no eruptions from the Blight. That is going to be 3 survivors on Death Hook now. However, 5th gen completed. The Blight with no endgame package is going to have to somehow get 3 kills here in order to secure victory. I just don't foresee it happening, but stranger things have happened in Dead by Daylight before. After all, that is why we do have the Demogorgon in Dead by Daylight. However, we do see the exit gate here, 99 and prime to open, and I just do not foresee the Dwight able to not get out here as they have 2 body blockers, and Dwight with the kick out of the exit gate, and Nia, you know, just a casual BM before they go. But with that being said, GG, well played to both sides, and that there will be Demice taking trial number 4 and set number 2 alike, forcing a set 3 where we are going to be seeing Iconic Cenobite versus Demice's Nurse on the Dead Dog Saloon. With that being said, we are going to go for a quick break to set that on up. That being said, as always, you, the viewers, are our sponsors, so that as they watch all the bits they tip, all the subs they buy, and all the rogue energy that you buy, using the code COTF goes to supporting Champions of the Fog and our prize pools for Group A and Group B. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit. All right, and we are back for our final set of Iconic vs. Demice, and we are back on, or rather, we are here on the Dead Dog Saloon, and we got quite an interesting setup here, as we are going to be seeing Iconic Cenobite versus Demice's Survivor team. However, the final trial of the match is going to be Demice's Nurse versus Iconic Survivor team. So, we'll see today, and we'll settle debate. Is the Cenobite better than the Nurse? I don't think so, but, you know, we will have to wait and see what these survivors have in store. Cenobite on the prowl, trying to find where these survivors might be. Spawn logic on this map is not horribly inconsistent. However, finding the box very early is quite the boon indeed for this Cenobite here, finding out where all the survivors are, in addition to a chain hunt activating. And we do see the impaling wires and the original Sin here on the Cenobite, as they will end up chaining out this Nia, and they are just getting barraged by these chains, as they will take the first hit here. Ace in the distance as well, and these survivors keenly aware of the existence of a sloppy butcher. Chain Hunt just not able to slow the Nia down long enough, as they will get the pallet drop and vault to boot. However, the Cenobite really on point here with these possessed chains, not missing a single one. However, main building just about to pop off here. Looks like between the Chain Hunt and everything else, these survivors still cranking out the gens bit by bit. Rebecca, though, trying to come in for the body block, will successfully get it, as the Cenobite forced to try and go for an aggressive chain, just unable to get it. And looks like they are going to commit on this Nia here. I will note that they are afflicted with the Deep Wound status effect due to the original Sin. And we do see Rebecca trying to loop the bar here, will not be able to get to the window in time. And looks like we will see a chase here with them, though. Second possessed chain here, missed by the Cenobite, just unable to get the hits when they matter. Cenobite seemingly trying to set up here on main. Rebecca getting caught out a little bit here, and will actually be in a little bit of World of Hurt. We do see the Chain Hunt misplaced and a stun to boot. Ace coming in for the body block as well. That means at least two survivors off of gens, potentially a third coming up, as Chain Hunt is 50% of the way to completion. Ace, though, will not take a hit. Instead, Cenobite really wanted to get this down and will successfully do so on Fry before the pallet. With that being said, let's take a look and see if this here is a Scourge Hook, and sure enough, it is, as we do see the damage generator score event, and that will regress the most progressed gen by 15%, as we will also see a gen in the distance get completed. We do see the Claudia in the distance. Can the chain get there? Unfortunately, just a little bit short. And this generator, we will note, is not highlighted in yellow today. So no Eruption, no Colibran, but a Scourge Hook and Sloppy Butcher, along with a Corrupt Intervention. Fourth perk still yet to be seen. We did see scratch marks going for the unhook there, though it looks like the Cenobite will potentially drop the chase, instead finding the Ace, as they are on the main building trying to get this gen completed. Ace dropping down, though. Survivor on hook, about to move to second stage, though it looks like they are not going to go for the camp. Instead, trying to pressure the Gallows, as the Survivor on hook about to move to second stage, but just before, does end up getting off in the nick of time. Second gen popping off. These survivors doing a fantastic job of managing the gens as well as the hook states. And we will see the Cloud up there on main trying to get things completed. Right now, Cenobite in a bit of a World of Hurt themselves, trying desperately to find the injured survivor. Unfortunately, not able to do so in time, as the Rebecca does end up getting healed by the Ace and Claudette alike. We do hear the gen here getting worked on, and the Cenobite a little bit worried about Gallows as well, taking a peek over there. And we do see the Claudette, and I imagine the Ace not too far behind. However, Gallows, it does not look to be regressing any longer. Note that the gens right now only regressing at 0.3% per second on these kicks, in addition to a 2.5% per kick. So not a lot of regression here for the Cenobite outside of the Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, regressing things at 15% per Scourge Hook. However, Ace will get to the pallet, but not in time, as they will take the hit. Ace in a bit of a pickle, as they are now in a corner. We do see the box starting to be completed in the distance, and a little bit of mind games here, but Ace holding the corner to a T, doing a fantastic job, dropping the pallet. There's a slow fall and the down for the potential second hook here. Hold up, we saw the Claudette coming in, potentially attempted flashlight or firecracker play, but it looks like they will not get there in time, as the Ace will go up on the second hook. Once again, though, no Scourge Hook Pain or Resonance, meaning that no regression across gens. Cenobite here really just playing with one perk, that is the Sloppy Butcher. Not sure if the Survivors are playing to a T, or if the Cenobite's perk selection just is not what they needed. Surprised not to see a deadlock, but instead we do see a haste effect, that there being a bit of Noed, and that there will be the down on the Rebecca. Noed potentially going to get the Cenobite a little bit more value here. We do see the Noed behind main building. However, a pretty quick heal there on the Ace, that there being Adrenaline off the hook. This time, though, going for the Claudette, who has yet to be hooked here. Pallet going down, Cenobite trying to get the mind games. Claudette holding their ground here, though. And Cenobite will get the down as the exit gate does get opened. Cenobite looking to potentially just get the fresh hook here on the Claudette, as we have seen a hook here on the... Actually, was it on Ace or Claudette prior to this? I want to say it was on the Ace, so we have a fresh on the Claudette, fresh on the Ace, 2 on the Rebecca for the total of the 4. Another possess chain attempt, but just unable to make it happen. And it looks like these Survivors will not be leaving. They're actually healing in exit gate. We do see the For the People. Oh no, not the For the People, sorry. I saw the broken stats effect, thought it was a For the People. Instead, it is a Deliverance. And with the built-in 10-second BT off the Deliverance, they're able to get the 4-man out. That is huge for these Survivors. And if that being said, that there will be a trial number 5 of set number 3, 18-11 in favor of Demice, as they'll be switching over to the Nurse against Iconic Survivor team. Things are looking grim for Iconic, but let's not count them out just yet. We'll see if their Survivor team can outperform the Cenobites. With that being said, we're going to be back in just a bit after this break. All right, and we are back for the final trial of Demice vs. Iconic, and it all comes down to this, where we are going to be seeing Demice's Nurse versus Iconic Survivor Team. Iconic, quite the uphill battle here, but not outside the realm of possibility, as they are going to need to get a 4-man out with 4 hooks or less. It's against the Nurse. It is the S tier of S tiers, the most broken killer in the game. And they find a Lori out in the middle of nowhere for a very early hit, as only few moments have passed as corrupt intervention will expire. So that is the first hook of 4. These survivors better be on gens. We need to see them popping off, as we do see a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance off in the distance, regressing the most progressed gen by 15%. We see a survivor up on Gallows. Not much progression on the gen. Jake holding their ground, though, and looks like a potential balance landing, try and make a little bit of distance. However, Nurse does not care and will get the blink strike at the pallet. And unfortunately, looks like the Jake may have lost all will to fight, as they will end up going on the hook for the second hook of this match. 2 more hooks, and these survivors will be going back to the campfire empty-handed, as Demice will take the W. Demice making sure, though, as they will apply what the survivors will soon find out to be an overcharge and a potential eruption or Call of Brine. Though actually, since it's overcharge, you guys should know, based on the combo bands, that is not called Brine. In fact, it is a eruption. And looks like the Nurse will go for the tunnel out here on the Jake. It does make a lot of sense, though misfire there on the blink will not matter, though, as Jake will go down unless he has a decisive strike in hand. Looks like it is, though Jake will not get far, as unfortunately decisive just not good enough nowadays for it to matter. And that there will be the first gen of the game completed by the Adam Blit of Sprint Burst there in the distance. That will be the 3rd hook. At this point in time, survivors need to go on the chases of their lifetime, as they need to get 4 gens completed here before another hook on a survivor. If, in instance, the Nurse is able to do that, they will claim victory here today for the entire match. Looks like the Nurse will drop chase here. Instead, will kick the gen, once again applying overcharge and eruption, and going back to the hook here, potentially for the tunnel out on the Jake. No for the people to try and ensure Jake's safety. But no bloodstains here either, suggesting it was the unhooker, the Nancy, who will take a hit there from the Nurse's blink strike. Nancy trying to get the main in time. Nurse with the aggressive swing, unable to connect, though, as Nancy will make a bit of distance. Nancy here, one of the best jukers we've seen thus far against the majority of these killers, will make it very difficult here for the Nurse. The question is, can they carry a 3-gen chase here to close out this match? And so far, they are doing just that. Nancy still going, this time finding a Jake, though. The Nurse potentially opting to change targets, tilling out the Jake for the final hook of this match. A bit of a bounce line, and unfortunately it does not matter, as Jake will end up going down. No decisive strike in hand. Unless there's a Saba play incoming, the Jake will be sent back to the campfire, and the Nurse will close out this match with a victory. Scourge Hook Pain Resonance progressing gens by 50%. Lori with the attempted light burn on the Nurse. Unfortunately, just unable to get it in time. And we will see it once again, this time getting the blind, but Nurse still getting the blink off and the down as well. Talk about a blind strike there. And we will see the hook on the Lori, securing the 5th hook of this match, and once again, the win for Demice. 1 survivor on hook, 2 survivors injured, only 2 gens remaining. It is possible that these survivors might be able to get some of them out of this match via the exit gate. However, with only 3 survivors left in the match, it will be quite a difficult task indeed, as the nurse will be able to maneuver around this map with ease with their blink strikes. We did hear the Adam there, Nurse did too, and that there will be another down and a eruption there in the distance. No pal stun incoming for the Adam, and no sign of the Nancy either. Though it looks like they did secure the unhook on the Lori. It looks like at this point in time, we are looking at 1 hook on Adam, Jake out of the match, 2 hooks on Lori, and no hooks on the Nancy. Excuse me. Algae is acting up here in where I am at. We will see the unhook on the Adam once again, and looks like the nurse will in fact go for the tunnel out, ignoring the built-in BT, instead going for the hit, forcing the Adam to move into main. No sign of the Adam though, and looks like Nurse actually getting a bit faked out there, as Adam stayed on the first floor. However, it does not matter, as Adam will go down, and as we know, Nurse does not need to worry about a decisive strike, as Adam will be sent back to the campfire via the entity here, I do believe. Overall, amazing play here by the Nurse, and correction, looks like Adam has 1 more hook state to give. The only survivor yet to be hooked here is the Nancy. Both Lori and Adam, at this point in time, set up and ready to be sent back to the campfire. And we do see crows come back over near the gen, and it looks like the Nurse may have seen it too, as we do see the Lori trying to make their way to the corner of the map to evade the Nurse's blink strike. Let's see if we see a double back here. Nurse holding their ground, will fatigue out, and Lori will attempt the double back, however, going down, as Adam will be unhooked by the Nancy once again. 2 survivors left here in this realm, and Nancy and Adam still have 2 gens to complete. Unfortunately, I think the only way that we're going to see a survivor escape is going to be via the hatch today, and I get a feeling that the Nurse here, though they don't need it for the win condition, might in fact slug out for the 4K if in fact they find the Adam. Could be a very similar situation that we saw earlier in this match, as the Nurse did slug out for the 4K, resulting in a bleed out on the final survivor. However, Nurse looking around, trying to find where these survivors are, and they do spot the Adam up on main. Adam trying to get a little bit of distance. Nurse with the prediction blink, not able to see where the Adam went, as they will end up doubling back and dropping down to the main floor, as Adam will take the hit at the pallet. Adam holding W, it would seem, and a bit of a misfire there on the Nurse's blink, as they are unable to catch up to the Adam in time, as he does make his way back up to main. And Nurse trying to figure out if he dropped down or not. Looks like he did stay up on top, dropping down to the main floor now, and Adam making this a pretty decent chase. If the Nancy is on gen, she might just be able to pop it off in time. And we do see the eruption, and Nurse not going for the slug for the 4K, instead hooking nearby the shack. It ain't that far away, and Nurse should be able to blink immediately on top of the hatch. It now all depends on where these exit gates are, if the Nancy will be able to escape exit gate within line of sight for the Nurse from shack here. The second one I have not seen just yet, but we'll see it here as the hatch is closed, and Nurse now primed and ready with the blink strike. Holding out, trying to see if they can see both exit gates side by side, and I think they might be able to, or at least enough to where they can check it pretty consistently. Nurse seeing something off in the distance. That there is the Nancy, her final attempt in this match. But unfortunately, it will instead result in a final chase. And let's see. Nurse saying, you know, let's go for a stroll. We're going to go for a walk. And end up getting hit at the pallet on the Nancy here. Nancy making her way over towards the shack. Actually, instead, going for a potential play here at the pallet. Nurse just pulled in W. Not really in much of a rush. EGC ticking the time down. Not wanting to make any mistakes here, as they are just going to keep the Nancy in line of sight, choosing the perfect moment to get the down. Nancy at the pallet. Nurse not going for the blink strike here like they did last time. Just keeping the Nancy tailed bit by bit, waiting for EGC. About 30 seconds, potentially 15 here left. Nurse whiffed the blink and the down, and that there will be the final down of this match, resulting in Demice taking the W for round number 4 against Iconic. GG, well played to both sides, and congratulations to Demice for taking the victory. With that being said, we are actually a little bit late to our next match, so we're going to be jumping right on in. Do not go anywhere, as we are going to go take a very quick 3-minute break. But before we do, we want to thank everyone here today. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.